All right, welcome back to another Tul World podcast. I'm your host, David Jew, and I'm here with Master Jew.
How you doing there, Mr. Jew?
It's going pretty good.
Pretty good, all right.
All right, we actually got some ideas from some other people. And so today we're going to cover difference between defensive hook kick, or also hooking kick, versus crescent kick.
And vertical kicks?
And I guess you could throw in vertical kick there too.
Yeah.
Okay, let's do it. They look very similar.
They are very similar. Let's start with the easy one.
Yeah.
The vertical kick. So vertical kick, we have vertical kick with the reverse foot sword and vertical kick with the foot sword.
But it actually would be called an inward vertical kick and an outward vertical kick.
You could say that.
Right. I think that's what the encyclopedia says.
Inward vertical kick and an outward vertical kick. Well, it makes a lot of sense. I mean, if you're doing it inward vertical kick, the only attacking tool you can use is the reverse foot sword.
Right, exactly, yeah.
You can't do it. I don't know. Can you flip your foot around and go inward?
No, you can't do that.
You can't do that. And vice versa. You can't do an outward vertical kick with the reverse foot sword.
Yeah.
Without having to turn the foot all the way upside down or something.
Right.
And that's just not possible.
Right.
And so, what is the vertical kick exactly?
No, it's just an attack.
It's an attacking tool,
with the side of the foot, and the foot is vertically when it hits its target.
The foot is up and down. Yeah, toes are facing to the heavens, right? Mm-hmm. And so it basically comes straight across when it hits the target.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, of course. Yeah. I mean, I would say a lot of kicks even kind of come up in an angle because you got to go from this low position up to this high position. Mm-hmm. But you do want to get that leg up as high as you can and then come across. Mm-hmm. So it's not really a lazy turning kick or something.
Right. And is there a certain way that you want to see the kick be performed?
What do you mean?
Like, how can I demonstrate it in the pattern, like Tong-Yo, and show that it is a vertical kick rather than like a crescent kick?
That's a good question. So, because it's an attack, right? You're hitting somebody. Mm-hmm. And just like a punch or any kick, the attack has to go in 1 inch deep. And you should still follow those training secrets of Taekwon-Do, the hip rotation, and so forth. And so when it hits your target, you have to jerk your hip back. In other words, it's going to go in and out like a punch or a kick. It goes in and out. And so with a vertical kick, I think you need to see that. And it can't go all the way through. Just imagine if you have a person that's 150 pounds, is my leg going to be able to go all the way through that person? In other words, it hits the target, hits that guy that's 150 pounds, and just push him all the way through.
No, wouldn't really happen.
Couldn't happen that way. And it wouldn't create that explosive power where you'd want to create that, like braking. Yeah, otherwise, it'd be more like a push. Right. So it has to be this in-out jerking of the hip, jerking the technique back. Mm-hmm.
So is there a reason why we would do the vertical kick rather than a reverse turn? Like, let's say you spun around. You spun around and do the vertical kick with the foot sword, similar to like Tong-Yo.
Right.
Is there a reason why you would do that kick rather than a reverse turning kick?
I think there's a, different target where reverse turning kick would be with the back of the heel. Maybe you want to hit them in the head. It's more focus, where a vertical kick is the side of the foot, whether it's the foot sword or reverse foot sword. So it's going to distribute that energy a little bit differently. Mm-hmm. Not to say you can't knock somebody out. And definitely the kick's got to be a little bit, it's more of in my opinion, it's a higher type of a technique. Mm-hmm. You're going for the chest and above.
Mm-hmm. It seems to me more of a upright kind of kick. And a little bit closer.
That's true too. Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Yeah. No, where a reverse turning kick where you might lean back a little bit more, so it's more of a reach. Mm-hmm.
Well, anyways, let's jump on to the defensive hook kick and the crescent kick. And the defensive hook kick is also called the hooking kick in the encyclopedia. Just to make it easy, we usually call it an offensive hook kick and a defensive hook kick so that we can distinguish it. Yeah, distinguish it a little bit easier.
It's a little bit easier from the American point of view.
Right. But we see it in Kodong,
Right.
And then we see the crescent kick in Yusin.
Right.
And so one's going outwards and one's going inwards. So most people would kind of think that they are the same. But why they have different names? Or what are your thoughts on that?
Yes, I think if you look in the encyclopedia, there is only one crescent kick, and that's the foot coming from the outside in, and you're using the foot sole, and it's a blocking tool. So it's very similar to like a vertical kick, although you have inward vertical kick and an outward vertical kick. Reverse foot sword and a foot sword. So why not have the crescent kick be inward crescent kick and an outward crescent kick? That's a good question, but in the encyclopedia there is only a crescent kick, and that's from the outside in, like creates a crescent moon, maybe, I'm not sure. And then your defensive hook kick is going outward, and you're using the foot sword side instep, kind of hooking it.
So my assumption is that
outward.
the hooking kick and the hooking block are named because of the arc that they made. So does it go more down as I come across?
Well, the encyclopedia definitely shows the diagram that the kick is kind of coming in a hooking type movement. Right?
So would you say that the crescent kick is the same, where it's coming up and then down as well, or is it coming across?
I think it's still hooking as well, kind of coming up and down. It's if it comes straight across, it's more like a vertical kick. But again, crescent kick is a defensive technique, and so what you're doing is you're blocking an attack, maybe a punch or maybe a kick, and so you're using your leg to block. And so a crescent kick is actually going inward, and a defensive hooking kick is going outward. Similar delivery, but not quite the same either because of the hip. Because of the way the hip rotates.
Yeah.
Like you said earlier about the vertical kick, it's more straight up and down, and you're kind of closer, so it's more like the leg kind of comes up and it goes outward, or it comes up and it goes inward, and it's kind of a very small window when the technique is delivered.
Yeah.
I think as far as a crescent kick, I think it's a wider type of movement, as well as a defensive hook kick is a wider type of a movement.
Let us know your thoughts on the 3 kicks that we covered today: vertical, defensive hook, crescent kick. And make sure to share this podcast with all your friends.
Sounds good to me.
Good. As always, don't forget to be safe,
Keep training.
and we'll see you guys next time.
Taekwon.